Hi, this is a synopsis of my first week on the trail, starting out at Amicalola Falls. I got an Uber ride from the North Springs station of the MARTA in Atlanta to Amicalola Falls. Shout out to that awesome Uber driver. Guy, you were fun. It was, Davron, it was awesome to meet you. Really was. Special guy. I got a little late start because of that. I didn't start the trail actually till 10:30. I went in, signed up as a section hiker. Envious of all those through hikers coming in. Glad I did start at Amicalola because I got to do an automatic fix on my defective poles. One of my poles, I tested out most of my equipment, but apparently not my trekking poles. Had to do a quick fix, and thank God for tape. Fixed that. They finally locked in after some work. And do not underestimate 600 stairs. They'll get you. You can run up and down stadium steps. You can run up down your stairs at home. Not going to make it. Those 600 stairs all at once, plus it's going to get you. Take your time. You don't have to do it all at once. Take a break. Enjoy the scenery. Enjoy the people on the trail, especially on the steps. You got a lot of day hikers, but got a lot of through hikers there, and you'll learn just by sight who's a day hiker, who's a through hiker, etc., just by the way they dress and the pack they're carrying. That's where I met Hummingbird Ellie, older woman as I, that I met on the stairs, and we became fast friends, and I think we're going to be fast friends for years. All the things we shared on the trail and things we shared about our lives. And that does happen a lot on the trail. You'll meet somebody for a day, for a week, for the hike, for a lifetime. It happens. There's a lot of shared experiences that happen on the trail, and there's a lot of things people share on the trail with each other. Don't underestimate a good friendship on the trail. And if you need to move on from that friendship and hike a little faster, hike a little slower, that's okay too. This hike is for you. Another thing I learned is water. Do not underestimate water. I did. Rookie, real dumb mistake. I mean, I kept on going over, oh yeah, I gotta make sure I have water. I fell for it. I thought, I'll make Springer Mountain. There's water there. No. I stealth camped halfway. We'll go into a little detail on why that happened. But, yeah. Whenever you see water, top off. Do not ever underestimate the need for water on the trail. Plus, when we stealth camped halfway to Springer Mountain, that night was just awesome. Yeah, I use awesome a lot. Sorry, my word. Owls at night, the coyotes come sniffing around the tent. Yeah, I think I started to stink already because they kind of veered off pretty quick. But at least I hung a good bear bag because nothing disturbed it that night. After that stealth camp, that was about 4 miles into it, about halfway to Springer. I happened to turn my ankle the next day. Thank God for KT tape. That will wrap up an ankle, a sore muscle, whatever, but I am so glad I did some research and got KT tape. I turned the ankle, thank God I didn't sprain it, break it, whatever, but it did make me go just a little bit slower. And I did finally find a spring just before Black Gap Shelter, the first shelter that you see on the trail. At least the approach trail, the only shelter on the approach trail, official one. But that spring, spring water, nothing like it. This is coming right out of the ground. It's ice cold. Please use a filter, because it's not just humans you have to watch out for, but there's animals that go traipsing around, etc. Please, always, always, always filter your water. Add chemicals to it. Use the Sawyer. Use the Hydra Pure. Boil it. don't get sick over water. You're gonna need it. Please don't mess with that. We finally got to Springer Mountain Shelter. That's another 5 miles that day. It was a cold night. Went down to the 30s. It was going to be colder later, I'd soon find out. But the wind gusts were 40 to 50 miles an hour. Gusts of wind, gusts of rain. I still managed to sleep most of the night, but yeah, that was my introduction to Springer and the official start of the trail. Next day, day 3, I went from Springer Mountain Shelter to Hawk Mountain Campsite. That entailed about 7 miles that day. Going out of Springer, it's all rocks, all the way, almost all the way to Stover Creek Shelter. Had lunch at Stover Creek. What a great shelter. I mean, nice and clean and everything. Met a bunch of hikers there. We all happened to stop there for lunch, and it was nice to talk to everybody. Problem was, a lot of us weren't hungry. And I kind of heard about not being hungry, but yeah, no, you gotta force yourself to at least nibble, eat something. You're expending energy, especially the first couple days. Make sure you eat something at least twice a day, sometime in the morning or afternoon, and then definitely at night. Replenish that energy that you are burning up. That's thousands of calories. Great if you want to lose weight. You still need the energy to hike, or you're going to be going like this on the trail. Not good. Trail magic. There's Hickory Flat Cemetery. It's a little family cemetery that's on the trail. I've been talking to Hummingbird Ellie about, God, it's ice cold outside. We're shivering. It's cold. And I was jonesing for a Pepsi already. I'm like, I had just not had a soda in years. All of a sudden, I can't get Pepsi out of my head. We come up to the Hickory Flat Cemetery, and there's trail magic, which is trail angels, people that provide stuff, services, free of charge, whatever, to the hikers, just because. Sometimes they're hikers, sometimes they're people that live there, it's church groups, just people that want to help. It is the most awesome thing. So trail magic that we came across was a group of ex-hikers that provided hot coffee and drinks and water, for the hikers for that day. Well, we got there a little late and didn't get the hot coffee, but I did grab the last Pepsi. It's cold. I'm shivering because I'm not moving. I stopped and I'm downing that Pepsi. I couldn't believe it. I'm just chugging that Pepsi down. But that's trail magic. It's unexpected. It's not looked for. It's magic. And the people that provide it are trail angels. So, once we get to the turnoff, the blue blaze, the white blaze is what you follow on the Appalachian Trail. The blue blaze are offshoot trails or an access to shelter or water, and they're marked with blue swatches on trees or rocks, etc. There's a steep, and I underline and explicitly say steep, descent down Hawk Mountain Shelter campsite to the tent pads. Oh, and tent pads. That doesn't mean wood platforms. And when they say tent platforms, they don't mean wood platforms either. A pad, quote, pad is beaten level ground to put your tent on. That's it. That's all it is. It's level ground, no trees, rocks, leaves, whatever. Bare, pounded down ground. Level. Relatively level. Burst my bubble. I was expecting, it's going to be this great wooden platform. Nope, that's not the definition of a tent pad, according to the Appalachian Trail. So, got to Hawk Mountain. I got to get water. So, Ellie and I shared a pad. Well, that didn't sound right. A tent pad. She set up on one side, but I set up on the other. Then I went down to get water. Since I've got a gravity feed system, I got this big bladder I can fill so I can provide water for the both of us. On the way down, apparently my my laces got loose in my shoes, pounding down a good 3/4 of a mile. No joke. I messed up my toenail. Painful. Didn't come off for another couple days. I know, didn't want to gross out most of you, but the littlest thing, you gotta watch for the littlest thing. But KT tape came to the rescue again. Wrapped that puppy up, and a little sore, but it helped out. But yeah, and then the hike back up, of course, all that hiking does not count as far as doing the AT. Any of those blue blazes, that doesn't count. The mileage that I put forth in the video, and that's reflected on most hikers, never, never includes the blue blazes. It never, excuse me, includes hiking out to meet people or hiking in town. Nah, that's extra. So figure you've done 2,200 miles total if you've done the whole trail, plus probably another 500 miles or more, depending. So yeah, you've done a lot of miles by the end of this. So it was pretty cold that night, and I really wanted to have some shrimp and grits, but it was getting 30s, it was starting to get dark, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm too cold and tired and shaken to heat up, you know, the shrimp and grits, and so I went to bed, not hungry, but without food. Dumb mistake. Take the time, especially if you're cold, to eat. You need to do that, because that night it got below 20s, and I was shivering all night long, where if I had had a hot meal, I might have still shivered, but not in such bad condition. So, next day, we got up, frost everywhere. It's gorgeous, but it's freezing. We're shaking putting everything together. It was pretty hard getting out of that sleeping bag, too, even though we're all cold in the sleeping bag. But as soon as you started moving, you started to warm up a little bit, and you figured, okay, if I keep moving, I'll stay warm. Keep moving, you stay warm. So we only hiked, meaning Ellie and I, hiked as far as Hightower Gap, which is only a mile down the trail, and we got a shuttle into town. Hey Duffy, shout out to you, guy. Great shuttle service. Shuttles are provided / you pay for shuttles all along the trail. Beginning of the trail, there's a lot of shuttle services. Further on, as you go further and further up, there are fewer and fewer far between, fewer and fewer hikers. So we ended up going back to Dahlonega. I can never pronounce it right. Please forgive me, Georgia. But great town, has everything you need there. We stayed at the Mountain Inn, and there's a McDonald's there, there's a convenience store, laundromat around the corner, post office, pharmacy is right up the street. On the other way is a Walmart, and the town is maybe a mile, 3/4 of a mile away. For hikers, easy walking distance. But that day, yeah, we froze. Oh, and the water that I set in the bladder, it froze too. So glad I had a durable, rubberized bladder, because it just rhymed it. It didn't completely block of ice, so thankfully I didn't ruin the filter, the bladder, or anything. Learned a lesson there. Learned several lessons within the first 2-3 days. But while we were walking down to Hightower Gap, maybe it warmed up a little, and all this frost and rime came pouring off the trees. It was like a mini blizzard of wind and frost and everything that came down. But I didn't get the camera out in time. Ellie did. Thank God somebody got that. So, next day, did what's called a 0 day. 0 days are when you don't hike at all. Nero are near 0 days, and those when you hike like the day before, nearly a 0 day. So we only walked a mile, so that was a Nero day. this day, day 5, was a 0 day. We just spent it in town, warming up, shower, washing clothes, staying in a warm bed. I mean, we were frozen. We really were. We washed our clothes down at that Sunshine Laundromat down around the corner and talked to this guy, Brad. Shout out to him. He was Georgia hospitality. Really, really sweet guy. Knew a lot of stuff about Georgia. He entertained us and talked to us for the whole time and really made us feel welcome. We were done with the laundromat. We went back and decided, okay, let's get ourselves together and go to the post office, go to town, get some stuff done. So we walked up to the post office. And on the way back, we're thinking, okay, we'll go back to the intersection and walk into town. This couple, right at the convenience store, shouts out, hey, you need a ride. Apparently, we look like hikers. Now, we didn't ask for it, but people will offer to give you rides. You can go and beg, but this is Georgia. This is the trail, especially Dahlonega. That is a hiker trail town. Really is. And I was surprised at first when I saw the car and it was loaded with hiking stickers. I went, yep, they're hikers. So we got a ride into town, saved us, a good half hour, the way we were feeling, half hour walk into town. And we went to, the outfitters in town because Ellie needed a new tent. Her tent was soaked by that night from condensation inside, and it worked on her previous hike, but it just, I guess it outlasted its goodness. Its campability. So she got a new tent there at the Outfitters, and Eric Lane at Woodlands Edge, shout out to the Outfitters there. They've got practically everything. 99.9% of what you need will be at the Outfitters there. And helped out Ellie with it, eventually gave us a ride to Walmart to get a couple, things we needed there, then a hike, a ride back to our hotel. And then the following morning, he gave us a ride from the hotel back to the trail. Now, mind you, he's not working. This is his day off. This is his day to sleep in. He got up early in the morning to give us a ride. Awesome, awesome guy. Thank you, Eric. Eric Lane, shout out to you. You are so awesome. And there are so many people like that on the trail, but you just can't get, underestimate the goodness of people on the trail, off the trail. It's all there. While we were in town also, we stopped at this great place to eat, Spirits Tavern. Oh, good beer, local beer there, great burgers, great chili, and great service. Good place to eat, quiet, relaxed, awesome place. Next morning, Eric dropped us off at Hightower Gap. Problem was, when I took my pack out, God bless him, I left my water bottle in there. So, figured, okay, I'll figure out what to do at, another major Gap. I got a little orange juice container. Like, okay, I'll kind of drink a little bit of this at a time. When I get to next water, I'll fill that up and then figure out what I can do from there. The next stopping place we stopped was Horse Gap. And while we're sitting there, talking with other hikers, in comes Sebastian hiking in. And he asks everybody, hey, did anybody drop a water bottle? And I'm looking, going, I lost one, I didn't drop one. He goes, well, here, it is the water bottle, smart water bottle I've been looking for, been thinking, I need to pick this up, and I never did. And it magically appeared. Now, that's not trail magic, or kinda is, but it's what's considered the trail provides. And it is a mantra on the trail. The trail provides as much as you need, and it gives as much as you can take. Now that's thought of in many different ways, but the trail provides is true. It does happen. It's not the last time that happened. It's kind of freaky in a way, but the trail does provide, and it provided me water when I so desperately needed it. I was just so amazed. I went up to Sebastian, gave him a hug. He probably thought I was attacking him. I couldn't believe it. It was just so awesome. So, I just can't get over that, even now. Now, Sassafras Mountain. That was next on the great list of things to do that day. It's a difficult climb. Take your time, do it. Sassafras, there's a saying, sassafras will kick your ass. Nah, just take your time and do it, and you can kick its ass. Sorry, kids. Pardon that. Also, day 6 was Ladies' Day. As Ellie and I got onto the trail, we kept on seeing women passing us. We're coming up on women. We're like, oh, this is Ladies' Day. Met up with a group of 3 or 4 women from the South, from Alabama, South Carolina, Georgia, all hiking together. They're all friends. And we stopped, took a break, and we're talking to them. And I introduced myself as Elfwood. Well, in northern way of speaking, and apparently I didn't enunciate. And okay, so I figured that's not a good hiking trail name. Like, we got to come up with something else. Well, these ladies came up with one for me, called Short Shit. I kept it. People were like, you really want that name? I'm like, yeah. Because every time I introduced myself on the trail with this trail name, Short Shit, it brought laughter. It brought a smile to people's face. That's me. I like to entertain, but I like to make people smile. So Short Shit it was. So didn't give myself that. The ladies of the trail provided that. So that was awesome all on its own right there. Another cool part of the trail was we were descending into this beautiful, there's just beauty and amazement and everything. The springs and creeks just, they're so cold, they're so pure. Yeah, there's hundreds of us walking the trail and animals, but it's just really cool to see. And Justice Creek is one of them. It has these log steps that steeply go down to the creek and then steeply ascend out of it. The unfortunate thing was there was a troll at the bridge. A couple guys were there. Apparently they'd hiked before. And it's okay to offer help and whatever, but don't be pushy about it. The one guy he was like inspecting us. And it's like, you don't need to do that. If I'm obviously doing something wrong that's going to hurt me, tell me. That's cool. But, it looks like you're holding your poles correctly. And, that's going a little, no, that's going a lot over the edge. It's kind of insulting, and not cool. He was real pushy. And then, once we, took our break there and, filled up water and everything, and we tried to get around. He's sitting on the stairs on the way up. Okay, common courtesy, all hikers, most hikers know, is somebody ascending, somebody climbing has the right of way. Well, this guy's just John sitting on the steps, and at first he wouldn't get out of the way. I mean, rude much? But yeah, he's gotten my nickname of Troll at the Bridge. Just because unwanted, unneeded advice is just too pushy. It's like, you can offer stuff, but don't dump it on people, please. Enough on that. Too negative. So, Ellie and I ended up camping at Gooch Shelter. We've been camping this whole time, other than the hotel. The camping area is a little difficult at Gooch Shelter because it's this maze of string and flags, and it's like, okay. And the map is no help. Sorry. We ended up camping with this guy, Nick, that we met, hiking with a duffel bag and a day pack. Dangerous to do because the duffel bag was hanging off in front of him where he can't see. So he was saying he was going to get to Neil Gap, soon as safely as he could to get some better equipment. Hope you made it through, Nick. Hope you're still hiking. Good on you, bro. I mean, good-hearted guy. But the tent pads were made for two campers to share, two tents to share. Well, there are some people there that didn't want to share. They just wanted the whole pad for themselves. So we ended up having 3 campers on one pad. Thank God a lot of these people will be weeded out by the time we get to Woody Gap, by the time you get to North Carolina, Tennessee border. There's no need. You got to look out for each other here. Really. Day 7. Gooch Mountain Shelter to Woody Gap. That was more like the trail. Got to this place called Preaching Rock. I got up, turn to the right, and just stood there dumbfounded. It was just so beautiful. There, I know I took the video of it, but it was so beautiful it almost made me cry. And it wasn't going to be the last time. There's such beauty around us and in us. And the trail kind of shows you that. There's beautiful people out there. There's beautiful things inside. There's beautiful things outside. You just got to be able to listen for it, see it, experience it. Well, we get to Woody Gap. I met my brother there, Rick. Shout out, Rick. And shout out, Carissa. Thanks for letting him come camping. Carissa doesn't like camping. Camping is a 3-star hotel. Rick loves camping. I mean, I don't know how much camping gear he actually has. He filled his truck, came down, and spent the time camping with me for the next week and a half, if I remember right. And we had a ball, but he met me there at Woody Gap, and there were ladies there, more Trail Angels, providing us with food and drink, hot dogs, awesome, and chips. First thing they gave us was these wet naps to clean our faces and hands. It's the little things. I mean, yeah, you can hand us a bottle of water or coffee or a hot dog, but to the little things. These are ex-hikers. They know what it feels like. We're grubby, we're gross, and just a wet nap so we could wipe our face, wipe our hands, and be semi-civilized. And we had napkins too. Well, paper, but we had napkins. It was awesome. You learn not to take anything for granted doing this hike. Nothing for granted. So after that, met my brother, and we ended up staying at Vogel State Park. Really, really nice state park. It's one of the smaller ones in Georgia, but it's really nice. Got plenty of kids areas. They've got the women's and men's rooms have hot, and I mean hot showers, and they're heated inside too, and they're clean. Really, really nice place to stay. Well, that's the week. For that week, I hiked about 29 miles. I climbed about 4,942 feet and descended 2,956 feet. On to week 2.